Today we'll be talking all about the top negative thought patterns that are keeping you unhappy. Welcome to another video. For those of you who are new here, my name is Nina and I'm a life coach that specializes in personal development. At this channel, we talk about everything having to do with self-growth and making our lives as awesome as possible. So if you aren't already a subscriber, please take a moment and become one because we definitely want you to be part of our family. So a lot of the times that we feel that our life isn't going that well or we kind of feel like we're in a slump, one of the things that we can look for is to see if we are engaging in negative thought patterns. So these are kind of habitual ways of thinking that really do nothing but bring us down. So we'll be going over the top 5 that seem to be the most problematic for people. So what we want to do here is just kind of listen to the list and see if we can spot any that might be actually causing trouble in our own life. The first one is comparison, and here we are really judging ourselves based on other people. Now this is really a losing battle because no matter how great your life actually is, there's always at least one other person that you can find that makes you feel a little bit inferior. Now this is certainly true, especially in the age of social media where we are constantly seeing everybody else's highlight reel, and it really makes us feel that maybe our life isn't as great as we think it is. And this can certainly happen in our real life as well as our digital life when we're looking at other people and we're just thinking to ourselves that they're more successful or beautiful or more accomplished or whatever we think that they are that we are not. We want to show ourselves self-love by not letting ourselves compare ourselves to anybody else because you know what? They have their own problems and their own difficulties in their life. We're not seeing that. We're only seeing the best of their life, but really our lives are no worse off than theirs. The second thing is always expecting the worst. So I know in terms of anxiety or worry, it's often given as a strategy to go ahead and picture that worst case scenario. So in some way you'll be prepared for the event that were to happen. Now the trouble with this way of thinking is that as soon as we picture that worst case scenario, it really seeps into our subconscious and we start to believe that that is what's going to happen. So it causes us a lot of unnecessary stress and again anxiety because we are preparing for this worst case scenario. We also start to focus so much of our mental energy on this negative worst case scenario that on some level we are telling our subconscious that that is the plan. So it starts to work towards that worst case scenario. Think about all the time we spend scaring ourselves. We imagine these terrible scenarios. We are masterminds of coming up with these awful stories and we replay them again and again and again. And think about how that is affecting our lives. These are things that in almost every circumstance do not actually come into fruition. These are things we just think of and kind of run with that thought until we are absolutely terrified to live our lives. Imagine how much more peaceful your life could be if you could train yourself to think about the best case scenario. The next negative thought pattern is dwelling in the past and failing to forgive ourselves. Every single person without exception has things in the past that they wish they could change. But the fact is that we cannot change the past and that we are not in the past any longer. There is nothing at all that can be possibly gained by spending any amount of time thinking about these terrible things from the past. They do nothing but make us experience the negative emotions that we felt when they actually happened. And in some cases, it feels worse to think about it now than when the event actually took place. We don't have to be prisoners of the past. We don't have to live in the past and we no longer have to think about the past. We can certainly learn from it, but once we've learned something from it, it's really time to take a step forward. And a lot of times it's just a matter of noticing that we're focusing on the past. So all we need to do is be a little more self-aware, and every time we find ourselves really starting to ruminate over the past, we want to bring ourselves back to this present moment so we can enjoy the time that we have now. So if this is true for you, it is time to forgive yourself and move on. Everybody makes mistakes, nobody is perfect, and we can just work on making tomorrow a better day than today. The next one is negative self-talk. Now, this is something that we don't even realize we do a lot of the time. So instead of being our own cheerleader, we are the person that is actually bringing ourselves down. We often talk ourselves out of things that we really want to do. We think about all our insecurities and remind ourselves of all the things that we think are imperfections. This often stems from our limiting beliefs, all these things that we have compiled throughout our life that we believe to be true about ourselves, which are almost never the case. So we need to be aware of what we're telling ourselves at all times. Start to pay attention more, write it down. If we're constantly telling ourselves we're disorganized or unattractive or unable to get in shape, our subconscious is going to listen to that and it's going to start to become more and more true for us. Instead of criticizing ourselves, we want to tell ourselves how wonderful we are. We want to build ourselves up. We want to give ourselves positive affirmations and speak to ourselves in the same loving way that we would speak to friends or family or a child. We want to treat ourselves with the same respect that we offer to other people. So start to pay way more attention to what you're really telling yourself and make sure that it is positive and uplifting. And the last thing is focusing on and fearing failure. The fact of the matter is, in life, we are going to deal with a certain degree of failure. We're not going to be immediately successful at everything we do, and that is fine. We can't let it make us scared to do anything or move forward. When we are so perfectionistic, it really holds us back from leading our best life. There's actually no way to really succeed without having missteps, because these mistakes are our best teachers. We really need to realize that the biggest failure in life is the failure to try. So we need to push past that insecurity that we often feel about the possibility of failure. We need to start thinking about the journey being more important than the destination. That's just going to make life more fun to begin with. So accept your failures, accept your mistakes. They're going to happen, and it's all part of this wonderful process called life. So remember, you are in complete control of the amount of happiness and fulfillment you feel out of your life. So start to ditch these negative thought patterns so you can live the most extraordinary life possible. I hope this video was helpful to you today, and if it was, please like it and share it with someone else who may need to hear this message today. Also, if you aren't already a subscriber, like I said, please become part of our family because we definitely don't want you to miss a thing. I look forward to seeing you very soon, and I hope you have an amazing day.